At the end of the line of New York's IRT subway system is Woodlawn Cemetery. Woodlawn is the end of the line for lots of folks. 400 remarkable acres in the borough of the Bronx. All the voices at Woodlawn are quiet now, but if you listen carefully, there are many voices here still. William Kennedy wrote that the dead, even more than the living, settle down in neighborhoods. Well, Central Avenue in Woodlawn is one of the swellest neighborhoods around. The crypts here are like castles and cathedrals and temples of ancient Rome or Greece. This looks as if it might be the tomb of a pharaoh or Egyptian king. But no, it is only a dime store king. F.W. Woolworth is buried here, along with some members of his family, including his granddaughter Barbara Hutton, the poor little rich girl, and her son, the playboy, Lance Raventlow. Right down the street from the Woolworths, another merchant prince resides, Jcpenney. The C stands for cash. R.H. Macy is here at Woodlawn, too. The place seems more like a shopping mall than a cemetery sometimes. Here's a name we all know, Westinghouse. Henry H. Westinghouse, inventor of the steam engine, lies here. Here's another familiar name, H.D. Armour, the meatpacking king, interred in a tomb the color of a fine pink ham. This is a replica of the Chapel of Saint-Hubert in France, designed by Leonardo da Vinci. This is the tomb of Oep Belmont. Art wasn't his first love.
And they're off.
Horses were. Perry Belmont gave his name to the Belmont Raceway.
Zooms up, gone west, takes the
And here lies John Bet-A-Million Gates. He invented barbed wire and founded Texaco, and spent his time betting the millions he made from all that on just about anything. I guess he won more often than he lost. Here in the partial shade of a great weeping beech tree stands the mausoleum of the financier J. Gould. He may not have been the most popular man in America, but he certainly was one of the richest. He owned railroads, he owned Western Union, he manipulated on Wall Street. Once Commodore Vanderbilt, after coming out on the losing end of a deal with Gould, had said he had learned one thing, never to kick a skunk. Gould is off pretty much by himself here at Woodlawn. Vernon and Irene Castle are together here under a statue that Irene posed for with a smart cap of bobbed hair and nothing else. Their life together was made into a movie starring another great dance team, Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. They have a dance named after them, the Castle Walk. Augustus Juilliard has a school of music named for him. Juilliard, of course. And Joseph Pulitzer gave his name to a famous journalism prize. He was the flamboyant publisher of the New York World, was buried with a copy of the paper under his arm, and among other great accomplishments, Joseph Pulitzer hired Nellie Bly. Nellie Bly's real name was Elizabeth Cochran Seaman. She took her pen name from the Stephen Foster song. Nellie Bly was one of the first women journalists, and her stories always created a sensation. In 1889, when she was only 22, Nellie Bly went around the world in under 80 days, even allowing for a stop to visit Jules Verne on the way. When she got back, New York welcomed her with cannons and a big parade. And here is Elizabeth Cady Stanton, writer, orator, mother, and one of the first feminists. She opened that first women's rights convention in Seneca Falls with these words: "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal." Her best-selling book, The Women's Bible, had the clergyman jumping like parched peas on a hot shovel, Stanton said, with no small amount of glee. Ralph Bunche is here, American diplomat, the first black man to be awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace. And here lies a man who died poor, a writer whose work was completely unappreciated in his own lifetime, and who kept body and soul together working at the customs office. His name? Herman Melville. He wrote, "If at my death my executors, or more properly my creditors, find any precious manuscripts in my desk, then here I prospectively ascribe all honor and glory to whaling. For a whale ship was my Yale College." And here is William Barclay Masterson, loved by everyone, his tombstone says. When William Barclay Masterson died, he was a sports writer in New York City. He died peacefully, slumped over his desk. From this stone, you would never guess that William Barclay Masterson had another name, but he did when he was sheriff of Dodge City. They called him Bat. Bat Masterson. They even made a TV show about his life as a root-tootin', gunslinging lawman. You might have thought he'd be buried in Tombstone, Arizona on Boot Hill. But no, here he is in the Bronx at Woodlawn with everybody else. Grantland Rice was a famous sports writer. He wrote, "When the great scorer comes to mark against your name, he'll mark not won or lost, but how you played the game." Sometimes Grantland Rice joined with some of his New York friends to play a game or two. Fiorello Laguardia was one of those friends in life. In death, Fiorello Laguardia lies not 50 feet away from Grantland Rice. Fiorello Laguardia was the best mayor New York City ever had, some people say. The Little Flower, they called him. There's a little flower on his grave, of course.
Here, the first picture is the laundry wagon. It's a yellow laundry wagon.
During the newspaper strike of 1945, Fiorello Laguardia read the funny papers over the radio so that the kids wouldn't miss a day of Dick Tracy because of the strike.
Say, children, what does it all mean? It means that dirty money never brings any luck.
All day long, high above the place where Fiorello Laguardia lies, the planes roar by, coming in to land at LaGuardia, of course. Admiral Farragut was a Civil War Navy hero. He fought for the North. Admiral Farragut tied himself to the mast of his ship during battle so that he could see better. "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." Those were his famous words. On his grave, you can see the mast and the hooks and the ropes. At this tomb here at Woodlawn, someone has put a couple of American flags. It's fitting they should do that, for here lies that Yankee Doodle dandy, George M. Cohan.
I am that Yankee Doodle boy.
Jimmy Cagney played George M. Cohan in a couple of movies. He got it just about right, too, the true spunk and star-spangled spirit of a great song and dance man.
Send the word, send the word.
Over there, you're a grand old flag, Mary, Harrigan. Give my regards to Broadway. They were all his. George M. Cohan was really born on July 2nd or 3rd, but he preferred to celebrate on the 4th. And here is Fritz Kreisler. They say he never met a man who didn't like him, and my, could he play the violin. And here, in the shade of a linden tree, among all the merchant princes, dime store kings, and captains of industry, is the Duke. "Music is my mistress," he used to say, "and she plays second fiddle to no one." And what a beautiful mistress she was. And here is W.C. Handy. He wrote the St. Louis Blues.
I hate to see the evening sun go down. I hate to see.
At Woodlawn, it's clear that however rich, famous, or talented we may be, they're all pretty much the same in the end. We mark All Hallows' Eve to remind ourselves that whatever we hope to accomplish in this world, we must squeeze it in between the sunrise and the sunset of our lives. And we all hate to see that evening sun go